Hey everyone, Disappointed Giant here. So this is a almost full 5vc run of a custom mode where I only use the items that are towards the lower parts of my tier list. So I'm going to show the custom settings real quick here. You can see, if you need to slow down a little bit, I know I scroll a bit as I go down here, but you can see things like flashing fans, tentacle, pyrotechnics. There's no shields in this build. Emergency decoy, holy water, swarm, mushroom boy, and then some mutations that really don't provide, in my opinion, don't provide a lot of utility and aren't super heavy to like tip the scales in your favor. So this run is interesting. We'll say it's interesting, to say the least. It was inspired by, I'm just going to pull up their username here. It was inspired by a commenter on my range tier list named Flark Fiasco, and they commented saying, I would love to see you do a custom road with your, quote, I usually don't take these items. And basically, you know, the purpose of this is to do a full run with the items that are in the two categories I don't usually take, and to see how things go. Small loophole, as you can see, the pool at the beginning of the prisoner's quarters always has your starting items hidden in a wall. The old wooden shield, I'm pretty sure I put in the not often category of my shields tier list, so it's a bit of a loophole for me to actually have a shield, since all of the other ones did make the cut, so they're not in this video here. So a little bit of a loophole just in case I need to parry such as that. So the move here when I went to the tubes is I poked around. As you can see, it took me a little bit to make a decision, and I decided to go with the spike boots here. And excuse me, the reason for that is because prior, when I was recording this video, I think it was like a week ago, maybe a little bit less, when I would play Dead Cells, I would be kind of leaning towards brutality. Just sort of like doing the usual Panchaku, melee, combo, maybe something like Swift Sword Initiative, etc. So I was like, all right, well, I don't use spike boots that often, but I do use brutality. Let me grab this and see how it goes. The way that the spike boots work is that they will crit on an enemy that is in the middle of an attack. So you just saw right there, the Rampager was raising their arms up to charge at me, and when I kicked them, did an extra, did a crit. So that's what the thing of this weapon is here. And in my melee tier list, I don't have it open, and I don't want to start clicking away from the video to find this person's name. But I do remember, God, this was like 6 months ago, somebody posted a comment about the spike boots, and they were just like, obviously I'm paraphrasing here, but they were just like, well, on 5BC, enemies are always attacking you, so you're going to get a lot of crits. And I was like, that's a interesting point. That's actually a really good idea. And if you were to keep an eye on things, maybe slow the video down and look at the colors of the numbers, you're going to see some pretty decent yellow chunks here. So even though I'm starting to roll brutality, I'm saying, all right, I remember at this point in the run, I was like, if I just do a brutality run with the stuff I don't usually use, it's going to be something that I'm going to be able to, I don't want to, easily is not the word, it's going to be more comfortable for me to scrape something together. So I decided to go tactics just because remembering what mutations are not available and what I do have unlocked, I figured like this would be more of a interesting run, instead of just me, whacking something over the head with with a pair of boots or whatever, right? So I decided, yeah, and the other thing too, that's what I was just going to say, is the other video that I put out whenever it was, a month or two ago, whatever, the take what you see video, where I just picked up every item of a certain color. It was a brutality run, so I also, as I was getting ready to pick up that first scroll, I do remember being like, well, dude, you don't want to do 2 brutality runs back to back, even if you're doing different mutations and different items. So decided to go tactics here, and For better or worse, it definitely was interesting. As the run goes on, there are some interesting combinations of things that I try to string together. There's a couple moments specifically that I remember towards like Stilt Village where I was trying to pair a couple of different melee items to get affixes and crits and stuff like that. So it gets a little funky, but right now this looks kind of just like a normal prisoner's quarters, just kind of like getting things rolling. One thing I do recommend is even if you're not going to go to the Arboretum, do what I just did there and go through the passageway and look for gems in the floor. I found over the hundreds of runs, I found a bunch of challenge runes in that area. So it's always worth just kind of like taking a quick peek, unless you're running low on time and trying to get that 2-minute door. It would be beneficial for you to check that out. So I get the 30. I don't think I take anything here. I'm pretty sure I roll with pyrotechnics. Yeah, so I roll with pyrotechnics into Promenade of the Condemned. And if you look down at my scroll count, you'll see that I have it says 3, but I have 3 tactics, 3 survival, and 1 brutality. And earlier, I recycled an amulet that was 1 tactics and 1 brutality. So you would think, all right, well, it would make more sense to come into this level with a higher scroll count, because that means, as you folks probably know by now, that means more damage and faster kills, so you're going to be taking less hits, etc. But there's a thing called scroll manipulation, and I talked about this a bit in my I talked about it a lot in my, I think it was my mid-game tutorial, so the 2, 3, 4 BC video. And the idea of it is to come into the second level of the game, or the second biome. So we're looking like here, Prom, Toxic Sewers, Castle Outskirts, or the Arboretum, with 2 stats in your main color, and then 2 stats in your in either of the other colors, right? So it just so happens that I'm coming in here with 1, 3, 3. If I came in here with 3, 3, 1, that would work too. And the reason for this and the way that it works is that, and I think this amulet here, well, I'm not going to pick it up yet. So the reason why that works is that when you have 2 equal stats, and this only works in the first real level of the game after you get out of the prisoner's quarters. So you have to come into this level with that stat spread. The game reads the percentages of what a good off-color scroll would be, and it somehow multiplies it, reads it differently. So instead of having almost a 9% chance of getting a good color scroll, I think that bumps it up to like 42 or 46 or something like that. So if you happen to be in a situation where you get two stats on an amulet that you're taking out of the prisoner's quarters that are not the color that you're using, it might be worth it, because the odds of 45% or whatever it is definitely much more favorable than 9%. And as we know, as you stack your scrolls and you stack your exponential damage or multiplicable damage, makes a big difference, especially later on in the game. So all that aside, as I was talking about that, I did pick up a better scroll. So I'm looking at 2, 5, and 1 instead of 1, 3, 3, and that, oh my god, those iframes on that spike was beautiful there. So once you get into the level, you can take whatever amulet you need, whatever pops up for you, because the scrolls are already generated at this point, so it doesn't matter what else you pick up. So just something to think about if you're at I think the 2 stats start at, it's either 3 or 4 BC is when those double stat amulets come into play in the prisoner's quarters. So food for thought, chew on it, see how it goes. All right, so we are rolling through the prom. Earlier in this level, I played, I don't know, I think it's really funny because my entire channel is dedicated to Dead Cells. I have all these tutorial series, I have all this stuff, and I still am reckless. I still make mistakes. I still don't play well sometimes, and that's fine. Like, that's okay, right? It's one of those things where, like, I feel, I don't know how to explain this. The feeling that I have when I eat it, right? When I play poorly and, you know, whatever, it's like it's a feeling of staying humble despite the fact that, like, you know, I know a lot about this game. I put thousands of hours into it. Like, it's just, you know, you can play forever and you're never going to be a master at something, right? So unless that's all you do and all you play, and that's not my path. So, and that's another thing too, is like I mentioned, you know, this run does not have any 5BC spoilers in it because I do not finish the run. But that's part of the process, right? I feel like, you know, you read these articles about, or even if you just see people on social media like posting all the best pictures of their relationships or the perfect lighting on the selfie or whatever it is, like that's part of them, but that's not real, right? So this is definitely a real a real run. What I'm doing here is I'm quickly just going down the hallway towards the ossuary. I'm going to take the prison depths because that's, you know, that is recommended in general for that extra scroll that you get from the curse chest. But I wanted to go down that hallway just in case there was a challenge rift. Sometimes you will see them, like I kind of mentioned with the Arboretum exit and the prisoners' quarters. You'll see some stuff kind of hiding around down that hallway every once in a while. So if you're not under strict time pressure, might want to hop down there and check it out. Another thing, and I don't remember if I posted a full run or posted a full trip through the Promenade before on the channel. I know I got a couple videos with full runs, but I can't remember if this was it. The way that I like to approach the Promenade, just for consistency's sake, and so that way it's almost like there's more of a through line for me, is I like to go left to right all the way across, and then I start to make my way down each of the paths. So that way it almost feels like, instead of going a little bit, going down, you know, and then hitting the shop, and then going back up, going across left to right a little bit, and then, you know, hitting the 2BC door or whatever it is. Like I feel like it feels better for me progression wise to, you know, clear out things horizontally before I start clearing things out vertically. So that's why I'm doing that here. So I have 58 kills. This is something I did not want to miss. So trying to get the 60 door here. I do not follow my own advice from my from my 5BC. I think it was my 5BC tutorial. So I got 59 kills. There's an enemy that spawns here. All I had to do is wait to hit it. And this is what happens. See this? Watch. Look at that. So I went from 59 kills down to 0. And my friends, my Omega level friends and I, we have a saying. I have a saying with them. I call it Butterfingers 59. And that is exactly what it is. It's like you are so close to that 60, and then you do one thing wrong. I feel like the stakes are so much higher at that point. All I had to do was just chill on that level and wait for that dancer to spawn. I have a ranged item using the magic missiles. Clearly, I have a ranged item that targets enemies, so I could have easily gotten that 60, but I didn't. Right? I just made a dumb mistake. So it happens. I was just gonna say, I think the magic missiles I have are a 5, so trying to find something to replace them. And this is, you can see I looked at it for a split second, tried to walk away, and I was like, I gotta take that double damage. So one of my qualms, here we go. So I got a good tactics scroll here with the dual stat, so that means that the scroll manipulation thing I was talking about, it worked. So there you go. That's sweet. One of my qualms with magic missiles is that it just doesn't feel like, damage wise, it just doesn't feel great. Feels a little light. And of course, like that's to be expected. I mean, you have a unlimited ammo item that targets enemies. If this thing did a lot of damage, that would be like, what's the point, right? I mean, I feel like that there's no reason to take anything else. So it does make sense. But like I said, it does feel, without affixes, and you know, it just feels like a little soft, maybe might be the right word. But double damage magic missiles is a different story. I think I know I use these at least through the concierge, and I think I switched them out at the Stilt Village, I'm pretty sure. But they carry me until then. So double damage magic missiles, quite good. Magic missiles with some kind of synergy, preferably like poison or bleeding oil, because that gives you 80 or 100% extra damage respectively. That also feels kind of good, but on their own, just like a little eh. But as you'll see, you know, I make pretty good use out of the double damage ones that I picked up here. So we have a cleared prom. There you go. Me taking my frustration out on that poor door as I walk by it, because I am very frustrated with myself for making that dumb move, right? So I didn't even mention it. So during my first mutation that I picked up was Parting Gift, and that is a mutation that drops a bomb whenever you kill an enemy with a ranged attack. So it didn't really do much for me. I didn't notice too much of a difference. There was one area with the bats in the prom that I think it helped out a bit, but otherwise didn't really do that much work for me. So but I'm keeping it just because, you know, I want to give it a fair shot. And the second mutation that I picked up, as you can see from my very quick curse clear, is alienation. And what that does is it will reduce the amount of enemies that you need to kill for a curse by 2. So or by half. Not by 2, by half. So instead of needing to kill 10 enemies, you only have to kill 5. And the downside to it is I am so wrong. Yo folks, I am so wrong. I did not take alienation. I took acceptance. So let's take a moment and go back. So I got the name of that wrong. So yes, I took I took acceptance, and it does reduce the amount of enemies you need to kill for a curse by half. The downside to it, so instead of, like as you just saw, I cleared that first curse with 5, I just quickly cleared another curse of 5. The downside is that whenever you eat food, it will curse you. So anytime that you pick up any type of food, you're going to get a quick curse. So it's one of those things where I feel like sometimes those longer curses can be a little, you know, they can feel a little iffy, especially when you're going through the ossuary and you can't find enemies or like whatever it is. So I do remember when I played this, finding that taking acceptance was kind of fun. And it also like added a little bit of a, I don't want to say like a game within the game, but like it added, oh, wow, I just ate it right there. All the way, I think, so that's the first time I went all the way down to 1%. It's not, or 1 HP. That's not the, it's not the first, that's not the only time it happens. But I'm going to take advantage of my awful sportsmanship there. And I'm going to use the frantic sword because I have low HP, which means I'm going to be getting crits. So I decided to pull that out. You know, I grabbed the colorless one out of the curse chest, threw it in the backpack just in case, and I'm glad I did, right? Giving me something a little bit different to work with here. So yeah, so like I was saying with acceptance, kind of like a fun little game within a game, as far as you know, having these quick little curses to clear and, you know, seeing how things go as you clear them, but then also having that extra danger of knowing, like, especially on a tactics build, knowing that whenever I pick up food, I'm going to need to play pretty well to be able to to be able to survive the curse. And I think during my mutations tier video, I'm pretty sure I said something about, you know, like talking about, you know, the food cursing you, and I was like, well, if you're taking a lot of hits and you need food, you know, having food always curse you might not be helpful, because if you're taking hits, you're going to die from a curse. But as always, there's exceptions to every rule, and everything that I say is completely subjective and open to interpretation and all that stuff. So at this point, that is not the case for this run. Willingly taking that food, knowing I was going to get cursed, because I'm still low. But I'm still below the 50% health threshold for Frantic Sword. So that's why I went back for that food. I think if it was a bigger food, I would have recycled it, especially if it was big malaise food, because that would hit me with three extra ticks of malaise. But yeah, grab the food knowing I'd stay under 50 and just rolling with it. And I think, oh yeah, I think I missed some enemies here. That's what I was doing. So trying to clear out as much of this curse as I can before I hit the ossuary. So the benefit too is when you have Explorer's Instinct pop, it will show you, as you just saw, the there you go, the automaton that was there and the scorpion that was a little bit lower. You'll have the benefit of being able to see the enemies that are spawning from the malaise that are not necessarily visible. So all that stuff is going to show up, which is super helpful. And I think, at least at this point, I'm taking the incentivized biomes just like I did in my Take What You See video. I just sort of, I didn't want to make purposeful decisions as far as the biomes I liked and I wanted to go to. So I decided to, at least at this point, just kind of let it roll and see what the game threw at me, right? And I think I might take Alienation here, but I'm not positive. Let's see what pops up. I'm thinking here. I'm looking around and this is the equivalent of like when it's like after work and you're coming home and you want to make dinner and there's like nothing in the cabinet and you're like, all right, hold on a second. I have a can of beans that's just about ready to expire. I have a teaspoon of garlic powder and a small bag of crackers, and there's a jar of tomato sauce in the fridge. I'm like, what can I do? What can I do to make this work, to at least get me through the night and give me a meal, right? Anyways, I I cleared that little baby curse. I decided to use I'm fairly certain I decided to use the magic missiles there because it's safer. Obviously, especially when you're coming up against the spawners and the corpse juices. Oh, there you go. So there's number 2. I'm gonna keep track of this. I'm literally I'm literally gonna write this down, and I'm gonna keep track of every time I end up going to 1 HP. So that's 2. That's 2. As I was saying, using the magic missile during the end of that little baby curse, which is funny because I already have another curse. Because being ranged is safer, but what happened is a shield bearer spawned, and because it's a little bit more difficult to get behind them with the magic missiles if you're trying to get at a distance because they turn around more quickly, I just switched back to the Frantic Sword and decided to use that to clear out that curse. So this is actually the 4th. Is this the 4th curse that I've had in like the past 5 minutes? I think it is. Right, I had one regular curse out of the chest at the beginning of the prison depths, and then 3 food-induced curses thanks to the acceptance mutation. So, and speaking of mutations, looks like the 3rd one I took is Tactical Retreat. That is the almost expired can of beans I decided to throw in the skillet for dinner. So I think it's as if you dodge an enemy's attack at the last second, every enemy nearby is going to slow down, right? So this is great to use with Frostbite, but unfortunately Frostbite was not on the list because I do take it sometimes, so I wasn't able to do that because you can roll through enemies that are attacking you. You can proc the slow and then get extra damage over time with Frostbite, but that wasn't an option here. So I just decided to take it to give a little bit of extra crowd control. So picking up another great dual stat. So we are at this point, I think we're 2 for 2? I want to say 2 for 2 or 2 for 3. We're 2 for 3 because I have one extra stat in survival. But hey, that's still, those are good odds here, right? Another thing, so here's another thing that I do enjoy about the magic missiles is that there's a little bit of a downtime as you're shooting in the air, and like you'll see this with other items sometimes too, but with magic missiles I feel like it's more pronounced, just because the projectiles come out so quick, relatively speaking. So there are times where I will jump off of a platform towards an enemy and shoot to better position myself to be able to get damage before the enemy will attack. So, all right. So I think that, so I picked up another piece of food. So that's curse number 5. I should be keeping track of keeping track of the amount of times I get down to 1 HP, as well as many curses that I clear, right? So that elite dropped a necklace that has a extra jump on it. So if my primary or my regular necklace or amulet, if it doesn't have a jump on it and I see a challenge rift, I'll always leave the jump amulets. I could just call them jump amulets. I'll leave the jump amulet on the map so that way I can go back to it, pick it up when I go into the challenge rift, get the extra jump, and then from that point on, go through the challenge rift, hopefully not take much, if any, damage, and then when I get out, take the old amulet back and recycle the jump one. So just like a small optimization strategy. I think I also talked about that in my mid-game tutorial video, but just a little something. You know, it's like, especially on runs like this where you're, you know, I definitely felt like I was kind of coming up, you know, hitting a wall, you know, coming up a pretty beefy challenge here. So anything that you can do to tip the scales in your favor, especially when the scales are heavily weighted in the other direction, is helpful. So, unlike the Promenade, I did get the 60 here. So, small. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, that caught me by surprise. Oh my god, that corpse juice came out of nowhere. All right, so that is the third. That is the third 1 HP 0% health that I've had, and I have not even left the ossuary yet. So, talking about sloppy runs, talking about, like, you know, not having the perfect pictures on Instagram and all that. Like, look at this. I got 6 melees. I've gotten down to 1 health 3 times, and I have 23% health. So, oh man, that's wild, huh? That's wild. PSA, public service announcement. In the ossuary, if you're playing on 5BC, make sure you kill all of those little corpse juices so they don't randomly show up and almost kill you. Oh my god, that was so funny. That was so funny. Wow. Loved it. Game-wise, while I was choking as I was laughing, picked up the scavenged bombard, replaced the leg hugger with it. So now I got a couple of turrets here, right? So I got the scavenged bombard, which works similarly to the heavy turret. You get extra damage when you're near it, but it shoots a heavy, slow cannonball. You have to be really close to the turret in order for it to proc. And I got the barnacle, which you can deploy it so it attaches to a ceiling, or you can just deploy it in the middle of an area and it will have these little balloons. So it's kind of like a floating turret that you can put just about anywhere. So as I'm planning on going, oh, I don't have a choice at this point, as I'm going to concierge, just kind of trying to think, all right, well, you know, I've been using leg hugger, didn't really notice much, either watching this or when I was playing it. Otherwise I feel like I would have remembered and made a note to talk about it. But I feel like in a you know, against concierge, it'd be better to have a turret that's going to give me extra damage and occasionally do a big chunk versus a smaller skill that is, you know, quote unquote inactive, I guess, if you want to say it. But because you don't really have to do anything with it, you just let the leg hugger rip. So I'm scanning the map here. I wanted to see how many enemies there were. in the event that I needed to buy food from the food shop and try to clear out all the enemies. So that is why I just drank, because I know I got more than 20,000 gold, so I can afford the what do you call it? Afford the potion. And also wanted to make sure we get some extra enemies in case I need to heal or need to eat food after this point. So and this is like a feast or famine, right? So that is the third jump necklace I've seen. So I had the one that I was talking with you folks about originally, and then I grabbed the double jump one, and then that one just came out. One of the, we're talking, like I just mentioned, oh my god, like I just mentioned a little bit ago, as far as trying to optimize strats as much as you can. I had the shield in my backpack. I think I eat it here. I'm pretty sure I take damage. Do I? Oh, wow, didn't. Had the shield in my backpack, and I switched it with the magic missiles because they were doing double damage, and you definitely don't want double damage in a challenge rift. One of the benefits of having the backpack is anything that you put in there, the quote-unquote bad affixes, so if you have double damage, quad damage, it doesn't take effect in the backpack. There was a mimic thing, like a mimic lower room, so I have a feeling this is going to be mimicked, and I'm trying to plan ahead. Like, what do I want as a level 10? I recycled tentacle. I probably recycled 2 or 3 of them already, at least this run. So I decided to go for it and grab it, get a level 10, and like I just threw it in the backpack, and we'll see how it goes, right? Unfortunately, I am not at my health situation is not positive. My health situation is not great right now. I don't believe there are any enemies left on the map. Yep, here comes my slow scan, right? And we've all done this, like, oh man, maybe there's like a couple enemies hidden in like one of those rooms off to the side or whatever. There's nothing here. So I know that I'm gonna eat the food. I know I'm gonna be cursed, and I'm gonna go into concierge with the curse. And the reason why I'm comfortable with this is I have these double damage magic missiles. I have 2 decent turrets. I have a shield in case I need to panic parry or anything like that. And also, since this run hasn't been going great, this is not a swimmingly progressing run. At that point, I figured if I lost the run, then, no big deal, right? So I figured let's give it a shot. Pretty confident that I can do this, but when I was going through this decision process, I was like, well, if not, then we'll let it roll, let it ride. All right, so what am I doing here? So I'm doing a little bit of affix re-rolling, and I got plus 80 to poison on both the barnacle and the scavenge bombard, but I don't remember what I have in my kit, if anything. Oh, it's tentacle. Tentacle's got the poison, the tentacle that I got from the shop. So I think what I may be doing here is planning ahead past the concierge, thinking, all right, well, instead of re-rolling mutations twice, what can I do? So once I re-rolling affixes, so I got the poison on those 2 turrets, knowing that I was going to use the tentacle moving into the next level. I think that's good. That has to be the thought process, right? So, all right. So here we go. So we are rolling with pretty good damage. This is I think I remember when I was playing this, I was like, wow, this is chipping away nicely. So pretty standard concierge fight. Clearly, I panicked for a moment there. I have like Stilt Village PTSD. I panicked for a moment there, thinking reflexively that was a actual pirate captain shooting at me and I was going to die. But that's not the case. I am, in this situation, I am the captain, right? So just rocking here. I ducked under that jump. Almost cleared the curse. I only got one more. Yeah, there you go. So feeling pretty good. I remember I felt good about that when it happened. Feeling good watching it again now. It's good stuff. So I did not take. Do I take it? I do. Wow. All right. So take the explosive decoy. I'm assuming my thought process here is that because I'm cursed and because Stilt Village can be a little rough, maybe I'm taking that so that way I have a moment's rest before I go in there. I think I'm going to recycle it, aren't I? Okay, no. I was going to say, I remember taking the holy water. I was like, don't even tell me. I immediately recycle that. But, you know, when you deploy the explosive decoy, you'll have several seconds of invisibility. So I probably thought that would help out with the curse, but we'll see. All right, so this build is interesting now. So I'm pretty sure for the rest of the run, what do we got, like 20 minutes left? I'm pretty sure for the rest of the run, I power stance, meaning I'm going to have two main weapons in my primary slots here. So right now what I'm doing is I have the tentacle. Again, like I said, I recycled a bunch. I wanted to use it. And it's funny because I talked all about re-rolling for poison on those two turrets, and now they're both gone. So it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. I got that extra poison. I had all that poison synergy, but it doesn't make a difference, right? The holy water that I got though is sick because the legendary affix is the rain that you're seeing. I'm sure if you've used a regular holy water, this is going to look different to you. The rain that comes down just like this, which is the item crash from Rondo of Blood using the holy water. Super sick reference. But the other thing that's cool about it is that it has an affix that says generates a shield on use. So you may have noticed I did this a little bit earlier. Oh my god. Let me finish my thought first. I did this a little bit earlier. I will use the holy water to give myself a little bit of a extra protection, just to use the shield in case I'm about to take a hit. I did not change my amulet after the when I got out of that challenge rift. So I went to the concierge 2 scrolls down. So wow, that's something, huh? Wow. So that fight could have been even a little bit more smooth. So yeah, when I was mentioning jump amulets and efficiency, make sure you take your original amulet back after you get out of the curse, after you get out of the challenge rift. Like, oh my good god, wow. This is, I don't know, I think like, I don't even know, like this is gonna sound oh, was that it? No, well, I thought I've been watching the HP. I thought that maybe went down to 1 HP again. I don't know. I kind of enjoy knowing that like I played like crap for a lot of this run, and I don't know. I think it's kind of cool that I lost it. I don't know if that sounds. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think it's kind of. I'm like totally okay with it, right? I do take this status stiletto, because I think the way that my brain's working here is I'm saying, all right, I can use the tentacle to poison the enemy, and then I can use it to pull me closer to the enemy, and then finish it off with the crits from the status stiletto. I'm pretty sure that was my thought process as I was picking that stuff up. Just because, like I said, you know, I haven't used the tentacle that much. I recycled it a bunch. It does give you iframes here and there when you use it, which is pretty sweet. But I decided, I was like, hey, let's give it a whirl. Let me see if I can make something wacky happen, right? Because yeah, that double damage magic missiles were doing some good work, but almost felt like a little bit like the easy way out, right? I could just kind of stay at a distance and do whatever and not have to worry about things. And as I'm sure you know, most of you folks know, Tactics has the lowest hit point increase and hit point pool out of any stat. So when you're doing melee tactics like this, you're putting yourself at extra risk, especially when it comes with you know, something like the Sadist Stiletto, you know, maybe even oh no, Frantic Sword's not tactics anymore, but just something like this that's going to bring you closer to the enemies. It puts you in a little bit more danger. So And I figured, you know, again, I don't want to take like an easy way out. Try something new, you know. So I'm gonna take a moment and just say I don't think I said this at the beginning of the video. Say thank you for hanging. Thank you for hanging here, and for all the folks that were interested in more kind of like long form videos. You know, longer runs instead of just sort of, you know, tutorial type stuff, or you know, edited and scripted content. So yeah, thank you for the interest. Thanks for watching this. I hope, you know, I feel like I say this every time I put something up. Like, I hope this is interesting. Again, it's sort of, this is definitely just like word vomit over a poorly executed run. But you know, it might be helpful for someone to know some thought processes, or maybe this is the first time you've heard of scroll manipulation or something, right? So hopefully this is helpful. I do plan on doing more stuff like this in the future, because you know, and I was with two of my friends last night. We've all been playing Dead Cells since forever. I think I don't know if they were playing early access, but they were definitely playing 1.0 before I got into it. They're two of the people that turned me on to this game. But every once in a while, every month or two, we'll get together, and the three of us will play a run, and we'll pass the controller back and forth between levels, and it's great because, like, I feel like, I don't know, playing Dead Cells with a purpose or playing with people is really fun to me. It's enjoyable. So we had a good time, and I was talking to my buddy Ian, and I was like, just talking about the channel a little bit, and I was like, you know, I did the whole tier list series, I did the whole tutorial series, and I'm like, I'm trying to, you know, decide like what other stuff I want to do, and I forget his exact words, but I think he said something like, dip in on those sweet full runs, bro, or something. It was something funny when he said it, and I was like, yeah, that's actually a great idea. I should probably just kind of have that be like the new series, right? Just you know, maybe, I don't know, at least one of every color, you know, and maybe take viewer suggestions, or maybe just kind of like come up with other stuff just to see, you know, have a little bit longer form videos. And I know Modesto and I are gonna, you know, do some more collaborations, you know, overruns and stuff like that. So again, as I said 10 minutes ago before I took a detour, thanks for being here, thanks for watching, you know, thanks for your support, and you know, for caring. It's great. I checked I keep up with comments. I don't really keep up with numbers as much, as far as, you know, like percentages and whatever. But I hit 6,000 subscribers today, so that was pretty wild. So thank you to all 6,000 of you that click that click the button that I never am gonna ever tell anyone to click. And thank you for everyone that's been watching. It's been, you know, it's been pretty wild for me. So anyways, as always, I'm starting to ramble, so let's get back to the game here. So the incentivized biome this time was the Undying Shores, which is, I think this is the first DLC biome. Yeah, this is the only DLC biome that I've taken in this run. So this is from the, if this does not look familiar to you, this is from the Fatal Falls DLC. I enjoy this biome a lot. It's got some the DLC. I think it might have some of my favorite, if we're talking about DLC items. It's got some great stuff. I love the Ferryman's Lantern. It's a two-handed item. It's like a slow weapon, but when you kill enemies, you get their soul. It's like a little swirly thing that follows you around. You can shoot them as projectiles. It's got an item called lightning rods, where you can put down these two skills, and it shoots lightning between the two of them. It's really cool. So if you don't have Fatal Falls, I think it's worth, oh, hold on, it's number 4. It's number 4, 0%. If you don't have Fatal Falls and you get a few bucks to spare, I think it's worth it. You know, I think it's I think all the DLCs are worth it in their own way, but this one, I really do enjoy this one. So the gimmick here, and you'll see, like I mentioned, the Ferryman's Lantern, where you'll kill an enemy and get a soul. There is a large enemy that I just killed, and you'll see a bunch of them as I'm going through the level. They're called apostates, and what they do is, in addition to doing a lot of damage and putting up a force field so you can't attack them, they will revive fallen enemies. So in this level, like I said, as you kill enemies, you'll see the souls will pop up here and there, and you can see it right there. So that's the apostate, the big dude right there, resurrecting enemies. So it's such a cool and interesting mechanic. I feel like I may have said this somewhere before. Apologies if I'm repeating myself. You know, I feel like every level has its own little shtick. It's got its own thing, right? You got the darkness and the sepulcher. You got the climbing the towers and the clock tower. You know, you get all this stuff, and this mechanic of reviving defeated enemies is really, it's really unique. It's super cool, and it fits in with the lore. If you dig into the lore of the DLC, like, it fits in really well. So still rolling here with the tentacle in the Sadist Stiletto. I picked up another scavenged bombard. Again, I'm pretty sure it was the emergency decoy. I think it was what I might have just recycled. Planning ahead, trying to think, all right, if I'm going into the Scarecrow, which is the boss fight for this DLC, if I'm going to the Scarecrow fight, like, what's going to be helpful? And emergency decoy was not going to be helpful, so decided to go back to the scavenged bombard. Like I mentioned earlier, you get that extra 15% when you're near it. A little bit extra, well, not a little bit extra damage, but, you know, the turret does some chunky damage, so I figured it was a good choice. But the tentacle status stiletto seems like it's working out okay at this point, and I don't remember. I can't remember if I take it with me into the boss fight or if I switch something out or not. But as I was talking earlier about this DLC, I noticed that there was a few really smooth kills where I would use the tentacle to scoot and then take enemies out with the Sadist Stiletto. Not replicate. What's the word? Propagate a little bit of poison here and there. Yep, see, just like that. That's pretty smooth. There you go. So when I've said this a bunch of times before, but when I say everything has a purpose, well, everything except taunt, everything's got a purpose somewhere, right? And apparently tentacle and Sadist Stiletto with poison synergy have a purpose right here. It's working out all right, you know. So if anything, I at least learned about a funky little synergy there. Let's see if I buy something. I might. Do I take the flashing fans here? I think I might. Yeah, so I take the flashing fans here. I'm pretty sure because, oh my god, that poisons the enemy too. Do I grab this as well? Do I put it in the backpack? Oh my god, I do. Still rolling with the poison vibe, right? But yeah, like I said, the tentacle and stiletto were working out well, so I'm fairly certain my thought process was like, all right, instead of riding it, let's, you know, if I'm putting a video together to use things that are not used often, might as well switch it up, right? Which is funny because I bought the flashing fans with the intention to switch it up, and then I went back right back to the magic missiles, right? I wonder if I'm thinking about that because the missiles are going to be better for the Scarecrow fight. Like I said, you can, like, it targets, you can get a little bit of extra airtime with them, all that stuff. So we'll see. I do remember the mutations being a little bit funky, but we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. So another off color dual stat, but I think I've gotten at least 2 or 3 of them at this point, right? I just got, like, that was beautiful. So I got the 60 right as at the very end of the level. So there might be 1 or 2 more enemies on the map. I don't know if I don't remember if I pause it again or not to kind of poke around, but that was poetic, just like grabbing it right at the end. Super cool. So all right, so holy water hits the road. Barnacle is a turret, crits on anything that is poisoned. So between the flashing fans and the magic missiles, I'm going to be proccing poison everywhere, so it makes sense for me to grab that and get a little bit of extra damage out of it. So, and then that Sadist Stiletto had 80% of poison. Super sick, right? So and that's cool. I love seeing a stiletto self synergize or self boost. The one that I recycled had plus 60 to bleeding on it. So if I had open wounds or something, that'd be instant synergy there and crits. But getting plus 80 to poison is pretty sweet. So mutation wise, I don't have any of my mainstays, right? I don't have disengagement. I don't have support. I don't have blind faith. I don't have any of that stuff. So what I do is I kind of throw together a little bit of a weird one here. So I should have turned wish off. I use that sometimes. But what I did was I took gold plating. So every time when I take damage, instead of it taking from my health, it's going to take from my gold. And then I took Midas Blood, where every 1 point, whatever it is, I get gold for every all the damage that I take. And then I took Dead Inside because I'm not going to be healing here, and I wanted to see if I could use that, like slide it in somewhere. So you look at my gold, it went all the way down to 240. Now it's up to 2266. So it's funky, right? The gold goes down when I take the damage, but then the damage I take makes the gold go back up. So I think overall, I might have lost, I think it came in with like 7,000 or something. So I definitely lost money, a little bit of money, but health wise, not the worst, right? Coming out of here with like 64% health, with no shield, and yeah, that was interesting. So wanted to give that a shot. So there you go, right? There's another combination you can roll with. Think about gold plating and Midas Blood. See if that'll will save a run for you. I have a feeling Scarecrow would have destroyed me if I didn't do that. So that was probably a smart move. All right, so we got, what do we got? Oh, we got 4.5 minutes left in the video. So going into the castle here, I'm pretty sure the castle was incentivized, and I did not just choose this myself. Yeah, going to the castle here. This is where things really start to fall apart, and I don't know for sure, but like things just started to get a little bit sloppy, almost like how the beginning of the run was. But at this point, the stakes are higher, right? The damage is higher. You're closer to the end. You know, I had wanted to finish a 5BC run with this and post a full run, but you know that's not the case, unfortunately. But yeah, so stakes are higher here, and things just start to kind of come apart at the seams here, you know. But that's fine, right? Let's talk about things as they happen, and I'll try to stay on topic. You know, I have an awful history of talking about things that are tangential to the things I'm talking about, and then being like, oh yeah, by the way, that's why I recycled that necklace. Oh yeah, that's why that's why I did this thing or picked up this item or whatever it is, right? So I switched the magic missiles out for the flashing fans because I had not tried them yet in this run. Missiles kind of carried me pretty well, so I decided, all right, let's try the flashing fans. And I don't even know, I think the demons might be the only enemies that that was a sick interaction. I think the demons are the only enemies that shoot projectiles in here. Oh no, they have the bombardiers too. So I don't know if I use the critical condition for the flashing fans, which is when you hit a projectile, the fans crit for like 6 seconds. So I don't remember if I actually get any utilization out of that, but at least, you know, I feel pretty good that I tried to do something different. Let's see, am I gonna try to do it? I think that might have been me trying to do it there, and I was like, nah, it's too much work. So all right, so I actually don't know why I recycled that. So again, I think like my brain at this point, I may have been getting ahead of myself. I don't know. Maybe I was just playing like crap. I don't know. I can't put a reason to it. But what I believe I should have done was taken that item or taken that amulet and recycling the one I have, because that one I would have ended up with 429.3, so like a little bit less health. But I would have had 15% damage reduction. So, and then after picking up that dual scroll, it wouldn't have mattered because I would have been at 429.4 no matter what. So, yeah. So that was a small mistake. And And like you can see, I just recycled the double jump amulet. Ooh, there we go. Number 5. Walking right into that tornado. Right into that tornado, right? So here we go. So here's heal number 1. Coming into the blue door, getting ready to go up against the slasher. I think they're called slashers. I call them the Skeletor looking dudes, I'm pretty sure is what I say. But going against the slasher to get that second key. And the way that oh my god, there it is. There's 6. So the way that I go through the castle in this is I will go along until I find a colored door, go in the door, do the thing, and then exit the same door, so that way I can continue progressing along the same part of the map, kind of like I did with the prom. So that's what I do here. You can see I teleport back to the beginning, and here we are, right? So I'm at, what do I got here? 80% health, so not bad. I have 2 mutations that are to slow the enemy, and I thought I was gonna eat it again. I thought I was gonna get wrecked there again. Unfortunately, they don't really do much. Like, yeah, I'm getting, as you can see, my gold went from 7,000 up to 33,000, so I'm getting some good gold. And here's the end of the run, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, here's the end of the run. So my skills are on cooldown. I should have just waited here. I see the bombardier with the star, and I try to come down, and that's what happens. So in my mind, I was thinking, all right, I'm gonna head down there. That enemy has a legendary, that enemy's got an extra scroll, let me get after it. And what I should have done is I should have just chilled out, should have let the turrets come off a cooldown. I should have waited. So those enemies, I'm actually, you know what, those enemies were on the bottom level. I should have just chilled for a second, and I should have, and what I'm going to do here is I'm looking at a blank screen. I'm going to put the footage again as I'm talking about it. What I should have done is I should have allowed those enemies to space out better, so that way the turrets come back, the enemies are not so close together. Because as you saw, I took like 4 hits in a row. I got pushed by the pushy knight there. I got hit by like 2 bombs. I got hit by the rampager. Should have let him space out, drop down, drop the turrets, and then proceed to do whatever, right? And I don't remember. I'm actually gonna, on my own screen, I'm gonna see if I can go back. Yeah, and I had magic missiles in the backpack too, right? So I could have popped those out, put the fans in the backpack, and then cleared out that space, readjusted, put the build back together, and, you know, continued on. But I didn't, right? And that is the end of that run. So thanks again. I think it was it Flark Fiasco? Let me pull the picture up again. Yep. Thank you again for your comment, Flark Fiasco, from like 4 or 5 months ago, suggesting this run. If you posted that a while ago expecting a win, my apologies. But like I mentioned earlier, hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully it was fun. Hopefully it humanizes your own experience, because losing a run in Dead Cells is just losing a run in Dead Cells, right? You just pick yourself up, lace up your shoes, and then get back out there again. Do it again, right? So thanks again for watching, folks. You know, I'm gonna over the next month or two, probably gonna put another couple videos up like this. Any feedback is appreciated. Any suggestions are appreciated. If there's any sort of items or builds or kind of like things that you want me to do a full run on and comment it over, be happy to consider that. I'm already giving myself feedback, realizing that a lot of this, I feel like a lot of my commentary was kind of quicker than usual, and a little bit scatterbrained. So apologies if that was the case. But yeah, thanks for hanging. Thanks for watching this. I hope everybody is well. I hope you're having like a good pocket of time. Good pocket of time in your life. You know, hope you're vibing. Hope things are going well. So again, thanks for the support. Thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you folks next time. See ya.